What's up, everyone? Today's video, I want to talk about what you should expect when bringing your kid to jiu-jitsu for the first time or just starting them in general. Now, with any academy, you always want to do your research and make sure that they fit with what you like. All right, what you want your kids to be involved in. Right, some schools focus on a lot of games and little jiu-jitsu, and some schools do more jiu-jitsu and some games. Here we do jiu-jitsu, and then depending on the class participation and how everybody is in the class, we will allow them to play games after they roll. Now, here's some things you should not expect. And it's pretty much, everybody's gonna have their different top five, but here's mine, right? When you bring your kids to jiu-jitsu and they're not in any particular order, but what you should not expect is your kid to get it right away, right? They are not gonna get these movements, even for an adult. They're hard to learn and it takes time. So you need to bring them on a consistent basis, right? They're not gonna get it, they're kids. If any coach would tell you, you can show the move 1,000 times, ask if anyone needs to see it again, no one says anything, and then as soon as you say, go practice it, they raise their hand because they don't know how to do it. Right? It's just how it is, right? So you don't expect your kid, they're not gonna become a world champion overnight, right? It comes with time. Some kids get it, some kids don't, right? The next one would be, don't live through your kids, right? We all watch UFC, we all want our kids to be better than what we were. They're not gonna be that overnight, right? Doing jiu-jitsu. They will get there eventually, but as my kids, they've done it as long as I have, but one of them continued, the other one decided he didn't want to do it anymore. Now he just does more kickboxing. But again, I don't force him to do jiu-jitsu because I do it and it's a family business. And I want him to be something that I wish I could have, because I wish I would have started jiu-jitsu sooner. But that's just not it. The next one would be, don't expect your kid to learn let me put it this way. Don't expect the academy to make up for what you perceive as parenting issues, right? If you have a kid who's a misbehavior and they don't have any respect and they're just with having issues at school, don't expect them to go to jiu-jitsu for an hour and put that on the coach to make up for your issues, right? What I mean by that is, like, if you feel like your kid is not getting disciplined, don't bring them to a jiu-jitsu school and have that expectation of the coach for an hour or however long the class is to instill that in them, right? That is not, their job. That is not my job. Now, granted, in spending any time with a role model or an adult figure, they're going to get things from that. But you're putting an hour to teach them jiu-jitsu. And yes, there's focusing, there's stuff that's going to come from it and mentoring, but don't expect, the coach for an hour to do what either is not happening at home or at school when they're for 8 hours or 9 hours or whatever that case is, okay? It's just not realistic and it's not fair to the coaches. And the next thing I would say is, it's not as easy as it looks, right? Every coach will tell you that we hate side coaching. If you want to coach, you do jiu-jitsu and see how it is. But we frequently, you'll have parents who love the coach from the sideline. And we say here is one voice. I want them to hear my voice and my voice only. When we're doing tournaments, we don't want 15 people yelling at them. They want to hear me or whatever coach that is, right? They don't need the parent yelling at them too, because what happens is they're so concerned about what you're saying that they're not listening to the coach. And the coach knows best. Again, if you train, that's different, but still we don't want that side coaching. Let the coaches do their job. It's hard enough as it is, teaching a kids class and in coaching and trying to make it interesting so that the kids stay focused and stuff like that. So in general, when you take your kid to jiu-jitsu and you start them, just have realistic expectations. They will get it. They will get better, but it takes time. Don't live through them. Let the coaches do what they do, okay? And don't put unrealistic expectations on the school and the coaches. That doesn't mean if you expect them to do jiu-jitsu and they go and they're playing games all the time, that's fair, right? You brought them there, you're paying to teach jujitsu, not a daycare. And I guess it depends on what you brought them for, but realistically, you're bringing them to learn jujitsu. Some games, there are a lot of jujitsu games, but that's not what I mean. I'm talking about the whole class is games and no technique. It's fair to expect that from the school. But what I mean is don't put unfair expectations on the coaches in the school to make up for things that aren't happening outside of the school for the hour, right? I hope this helps, and I hope if you have any questions, just hit me in the comments. Again, like, subscribe, and tell me what you want to hear, what you want to talk about.